It was published, got scored, and was suspended, at least for a while. The LTO administrative order restricting use of vintage motor vehicles. Motoring Today field correspondent Andre Ko reports.
The title of Land Transportation Office Administration Number RPC 2016-033 was innocuous enough. Registration and/or recording of vintage motor vehicles. It was published on major dailies on April 2, 2016, which meant it would become effective 15 days later. Basically, the order defines what should be considered a vintage automobile. To wit, a motor vehicle manufactured at least 40 years prior to the current year or with year model earlier than 1975, not a reproduction, and which has been maintained in or restored to a condition in conformity with the manufacturer's specification and appearance. And then sets about setting the procedures and guidelines for its registration or recording. What's wrong with that? Nothing, but the order and LTO reaped a rich harvest of scorn from vintage car owners and car enthusiasts. Why? Because the AO also puts restrictions on when and how owners are to use their vintage vehicles. The AO mandates that registered vintage vehicles can only be used on the roads only during Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. It also sets a distinction for vintage vehicles not registered but only recorded as such with the LTO. Those in the category of recorded vintage vehicles shall be allowed to operate to and from events such as participation in vintage car club activities, exhibits, tours, parades, and similar events provided that such operation is with a valid permit issued by the LTO. Vintage car owners, organized in associations or as individuals, protested the order and began planning more protests, including signed petitions on social media. Faced with mounting protests against the AO, the LTO first tried to explain the order and then decided to recall. Meanwhile, it said it would hold public consultations on the offending AO.
Well, some believe that genie is out of the bottle and recalling or suspending implementation of the order is just delaying the inevitable. Others say LTO should be given the benefit of the doubt, that its officials could see the necessity of putting restrictions on road use of vintage vehicles.